Can you take me back to 2018, the Hyatt House? You're living for 6 months during the pilot of The Righteous Gemstones at a place that felt like you were going to birth something special, or?
Yeah, well, the six months proper was when I was writing on the first season of the Gemstones, and then maybe that was after. So okay, the chunk of 6 months was when I was writing, and we lived there doing the pilot for 6 weeks maybe. But the whole place changed for me once other cast members were there and doing that. It was, by the way, that was a mistake to live in a hotel for 6 months while writing.
It became The Shining. It became The Shining.
Yeah, it just becomes so weird. And then, like, I don't know, day 4 or whatever, you go, that fan in the bathroom never turns off. And, I think I made the alarms of the entire building go off trying to make a Beyond Burger. Like, you just start to feel weird. And there were enough.
4 days into 6 months, you start to feel weird.
I would say 2 weeks into 6 months. But I was so stoked to be in on the creation of all of it that those feelings and almost psychosis creepings of being in that hotel room for so long they got smushed down because I was so excited to be creating this show and helping create the show. It was one of those where after, I don't know if you've ever had this, but the times in my life that I've had like depressed periods, or it's almost like I see it after and I go, oh, and I was pretty fucked up then, or I was pretty down. That was one of those after where I was so happy with everything that was happening. It was almost like I could look at a sliver of it after and go, ooh, I was not doing great living in that hotel room.
Is your character your favorite character on the show, or do you like another character better?
Judy's my favorite.
I mean, it's a pretty great character.
Yeah, she's my favorite. Yeah, she has my whole heart and soul inside of her. I feel so much for her.
You pour all of yourself into your work, but when you say you feel all of that for her, Are you saying you're bringing 30 years of the industry into that? Just like where it is that the boys are in charge and the boys don't know anything, but the boys get to have all of the power all the time in comedy because you had to come in through there. Interesting.
Well, she definitely was a cool place to channel unfiltered frustration and rage. I never really thought about, is this at like the struggle of what it takes to become an actor or a performer or a writer in our industry, but I'm sure it's in the mix. I mean, anything that I've ever felt like isn't fair, I'm sure is in her. And
you hadn't considered that before now? That's funny to think that your entire life experience and uncaging whatever it is you've had to hide down there because the boys are still in charge and they shouldn't be. And look at them, they're idiots. Like that all of that would get unleashed. That seemed obvious.
It's maybe the thing is it felt maybe bigger than that. It felt maybe less specific than, the times the boys get things. That's in the mix for sure, because, we've all seen that in different places in our lives.
Well, we haven't all seen it. Men have the privilege of usually not having to see it.
Well, I guess when I say we all, I mean women. But it more than just the specificity of that, it was awesome to just be able to unleash female rage and frustration in general.
And funny, and make it uproariously funny. Like that's
just make it true with no filter on it, and just to express like name an emotion like intense anger, intense horniness, intense insecurity, intense overconfidence, all of it that's in every woman. Yeah, it felt like awesome permission to just go like,
What was happening in your childhood, though, that made you gravitate toward these characters? Like, what were you a child that was always impersonating people? What were you doing in terms of how you were honing the child creativity where you're discovering that this is something that you crave?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of a couple of things. Part of it was growing up in Texas and there just being a large number of characters around me. And I think part of that is just the South in general is kind of rich that way in that.
So the child you is noticing I'm surrounded by weirdos.
Yeah, and loving it. And yeah, knowing I'm surrounded by just delicious weirdos. I don't know how I knew that at a young age, but I really did. Even if I was sort of afraid of something, I knew like, oh, this is good. I've always, and this is probably because I'm from a long line of, on my mom's side, of starers. Like we still have to tell my mom, like, Jeannie, stop. Because she will just get lost in like wanting to stare at a couple at dinner and like hear their whole conversation. I'm like, I have that want too, but unlock your eyes.
A long line of starers,
yes.
And you're realizing
all my aunts, all my cousins.
But you're not thinking as a kid. You don't have an eye also for content, do you? Or do you very early on? You're seeing these people are rich. Life is cartoonish, and I want to embody the weirdness. I think I wanted to embody the weirdness from very young. Like from first grade, crazily, I had a first grade teacher at my public elementary school who was from the UK. And so she was this older woman with an accent, and which I still don't know why she was there, but I would go do her for my family, or we had this wild list of my dad's father was sick, and we would go over there every other night. We would go over there and basically be there from like after school until like 10 to help take care of him. And during the day, though, there was this long list of women who would come and be like the day person, and some of them lived there, and because then they would sort of take over the late night. And look, God bless them, but so many of them, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's where we were. I don't know if it's that my mom and dad and my uncles and whoever needed to get the most affordable option. I don't know what the deal was, but they were all wild. And I used to like to do them for my family. And I think maybe from early on, I realized that it can kind of take the pressure off as well. Like if we're all feeling stressed out and or worried or sad, it's a little dangerous to do, this woman who's taking care of my grandfather who, seemed 7 feet tall and had enormous boobs and like used to like catch the rainwater coming off the house to wash her hair. And like let her dog eat from the inside of her mouth. She'd put ice cream in her mouth and like let the dog lick it out from the inside. It all sounds so dark, but something in me from very little knew like, oh yeah, if I do them, or if I do the weird silent one with a braid down past her ass, something about it like takes some pressure off of my parents and makes us all laugh. You have to do more with those characters. It seems like this is after Playgirl, because it seems like you've been doing a one-woman show since whatever this age was.
Maybe, kind of.
Like this is just what you're doing now in adulthood is just recreating whatever it is you were as a kid. That's why it's the playground it is for you. So you have all of these characters and you're instantaneously getting affection, applause, affirmation, because they're all funny. And so you're allowed from very early on to embody the weird. Like you're allowed to get comfortable with weird.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That's not normal in childhood. I think most kids are trying to fit in, right?
Totally. Which I definitely, the weird was embraced early on from my family. And definitely I had like phases at school where I was like, oh God, I'm very different than everyone else here. But I feel like performing for them and then doing certain things and then performing at school, like literally doing a performance at school, helped me to go like, okay, that's who I am. And definitely I felt like, oh, being funny is part of who I am at school.
And what age was that? Because there's real confidence in however it is you guys. There could be doubts in all sorts of other places, but to know who you are, what you want at an early age is like a great deal of the pie chart on how you get to happy.
Huge. Yeah. I would say 7th grade, we had a thing called Class Day that was basically a talent show. And me and some other girls that I knew wrote a dating game parody, and we were playing the guys, and one of the girls was playing the girl voting on us, and I was playing a nerd, and we had written the thing and we were going to perform it. And I just remember the feeling of the auditorium full of kids dying laughing every time I would say a word or do something. And I remember thinking like, oh, okay, well, this is it for me. So I have to figure out how to make this a job. And I had no idea. And so then when I did plays at school, but those were, doing plays at school is the only outlet to figure out what I was doing.
Yeah, but that's what school's for right there.
100%.
I mean, everyone, no one gets that feeling in college, in 7th grade, or anywhere else. The feeling where
Totally.
you get lightning struck on, this is what I must be doing. I have no other choices.
Yeah.
7th grade? That's crazy to know that.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Because then you can just start chasing it right then.
Totally. I can just keep going toward it. And just knowing like, well, I'm just going to keep going toward this. I'm never going to stop doing this. So